Hi guys, Brian Buckosh here, core design engineer with Brunswick Bowling, and today I'm excited to talk to you about the two newest pro performance releases in the Brunswick lineup, which include the newest innovation in DynamiCore technology. So let's take it to the intro. The Quantum nameplate has been an absolute staple in the Brunswick lineup in the pro performance category for decades now. Typically, you'll see some variation of this mushroom core in the inner core surrounded by a thick-shelled outer cover material, meaning that the cover is also the outer core. This is great for hitting power because the cover stock material is very strong and it goes through the pins very well, but it limits the range of motions that you can achieve with this quantum core system. So we set out to achieve a core system that was more versatile. In order to achieve lower RGs and more hook potential, we had to make a three-piece ball design. So to do that, we were tasked with making a system that allowed the outer core material to be light like it needs to be in order to make the lower RGs, but also strong enough to go through the pins like you know a Quantum does. Enter the Quantum Evo, but you already know that because you clicked on this video. We have two new cores in this Quantum Core System, or QCS. They are the QCS 12 and the QCS 24. We'll start with the inner cores. The 12 and the 24 are representative of the intermediate differentials, that is the asymmetry of the core. So the 12, of course, is less asymmetric at 0.012, and of course the 24 is 0.024. That means it's twice as asymmetric as the other one. Both of these cores have the same base core shape, that mushroom core shape that you're so familiar with, but there are a couple new features that you'll notice. The QCS 24 core is shaved in the areas of the mass bias, making it more elliptical to give you that asymmetry that you're looking for. Both cores have two slots running vertically to allow the DynamiCore material to flow through the core. And also, the mushroom top also has the slotted regions that allow maximum adhesion and maximum surface contact between the new DynamiCore2 and the inner core. DynamiCore2 has properties of high strength, high adhesion, and low weight. That makes it the perfect substitute for the cover stock material that was found on the previous Quantums, because it has the lower weight, which means that you can have a lower RG, more mass-centric core system, but it's also not going to compress through the pins, which means it's not going to lose energy, it's going to transfer all of its energy. And new to DynamiCore2 is that adhesion that I was talking about, which basically means the interface between the cover stock and the DynamiCore, and the DynamiCore and the inner core is stronger, which means you won't lose any energy at those interfaces either. It's going to be the hardest hitting ball that isn't a two-piece design. Not to be outdone by this core system, of course we have a new cover stock. Evolution Reactive is found in a solid and a pearl on these two balls. The sanded solid is going to be one of the strongest balls in the Brunswick lineup, and it's the most dynamic off the end of the spot for a strong ball. It's going to be a little more left to right than you expect out of a strong sanded solid. And the Quantum Evo Pearl, of course, is the pearlized version. That's going to be one of the strongest pearls that we've ever released, kind of built to handle a medium-heavy amount of oil without squirting through the breakpoint, which is unique for a strong pearl. Without delay, I'm going to take you to a couple comparison charts and show you how these two new Quantums stack up with the rest of the Brunswick lineup. Here's Brunswick's Ball Performance Index chart, which sorts balls into categories based on the motion shapes that they're intended to make. In the Pro Performance, we have two new Evos. In the traction category, we have Evo Solid, which sits squarely between the Zenith Solid and the Zenith Hybrid, and in the all-purpose category, we have the Quantum Evo Pearl, which has the strongest strength rating of all the all-purpose balls. My comparison chart has every Brunswick release for an entire year and a couple staples in the lineup, such as the Igniters and the Rhinos that round out the lineup. They're sorted by oil volume from lightest on the left to heaviest on the right, and by response to friction, with the sharpest responding balls toward the top of the chart, and the slowest responding balls or the smoothest responding balls toward the bottom of the chart. You'll notice that our two newest balls, the Quantum Evo series, are highlighted in yellow. As I mentioned earlier in the video, this Quantum Evo Solid is very dynamic for a heavy oil solid asymmetrical ball. You'll notice that it fits in the strong category of ball motion, and it's about as strong as any ball that we've made, aside from maybe the Zenith. It fits between the Zenith and the Zenith Hybrid, but gives you a little more shape off the back of the pattern. The Zeniths were early, strong, heavy rolling balls with a core design. But the Evos, with that mushroom shape that you're used to out of the Quantums, gets you through the fronts a little better with a little more change of direction. With this aggressive snow tire of a cover stock that's on the Quantum Evo Solid, you'll expect that this ball digs hard in the mid lane and gives you an abrupt change of direction. But because it only has a 12 intermediate differential compared to the 24 of the Pearl, that means it's going to have a little more continuation and a little less jerk stop motion overall. This ball is going to be very aggressive, but it's going to be very versatile because of how much it shapes despite the fact that it's so strong. As you would expect, the higher intermediate differential core, the compounded cover, and the Pearl in the cover mean that the Quantum Evo Pearl is going to get you through the fronts a lot better and have a much more abrupt change of direction. Compared to a like drilled Zenith Pearl, this Quantum Evo is going to be earlier in the mid lane, more abrupt, and shape just more overall. This is one of the strongest pearls that Brunswick's ever built. This is going to be a fun one to get in when the mids open up and be able to step in and go around the corner. They make a perfect dynamic 1-2 punch. When the Quantum Evo Solid is either too much or too early, it's easy to grab your Quantum Evo Pearl, take a little step in, open up the launch angle, and send it away and watch it recover with no complaints and no doubts. The Quantum Evo Pearl is about as angular as an all-purpose ball motion gets. It's an interesting combination of strength and versatility for a pearl polished ball, which you typically feel like is a little too twitchy, a little too long down the lane, or a little too hard off the spot to be predictable enough to use on volume or earlier in the day. But I think you'll be surprised about the usability and the predictability of the Quantum Evo Pearl, despite the fact that it is a polished pearl asymmetrical ball. When both of these Quantums get too strong for you, they're changing direction too hard, or they're simply reading the mids just too much, it's an easy step down. If you need to smooth out the motion, say a smoother motion than the Quantum Evo Solid, then it's easy to go to something like a Hero Solid or an Igniter Series ball. If you want similar length to a Quantum Evo Pearl, or to get even further down the lane and have a slightly less abrupt change of direction, but still make sure that the ball gets off the pattern, then one of the Melee Jabs or the Stellar Series balls is going to be the perfect complement. And of course, when all of these are too strong, a step down to an Igniter Pearl or the Rhino or Twist Series is going to round out your block. This is, without a doubt, one of the most complete lineups in bowling right now. That's the information I have on these two new releases from the Brunswick lineup, the Quantum Evo Solid and the Quantum Evo Pearl. There's a lot of tech surrounding these balls, but let's not forget, at their heart, they're a lot of fun to throw too. I think you'll be really happy with the strength and the response to friction of both of these balls. Available as I'm talking to you right now, make sure you swing by your local pro shop and pick one up. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube and Facebook pages, Bowling Buckosh, because of course I make new videos as new releases from the brands of Brunswick come out. Until next time, thanks for watching.